Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. And in this episode, we're going to see the cross-examination of Darrell Brooks. And oh boy, if you think that he's been dumb so far, I think this one where he tries to avoid the subject and actually try to discredit the expert is one of the worst so far. Because it gets worse. Trust me, it always gets worse with Darrell Brooks. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But just before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for liking the video. As of right now, we are at 2,050 subscribers. So we already have 50 after the 2,000 that we got last month. So welcome back, everyone. And thank you. Thank you for being here. As I always say at the end of the video, but if you don't stick to the end of the video, I believe that you guys are great. I believe that you guys matter. And I'm really happy that you guys are here with me watching this and getting to hang out with everyone. I always respond comments because I love talking with you. So just say hi in the comments. Yeah, I'll say hi back and we can chat. But all right, let's get into the video.
Any questions for this witness?
I do.
Of course.
Your primary field is in the medical field. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
You could say that.
Any reason why you would be inspecting a car if that's not a medical professional thing?
First of all, he called it a car. Is it a car or an SUV, Darrell Brooks? Second of all, like I said in the last video, she needs to compare the damage with the evidence with the car that hit them, so she can compare the injuries. If you watch any TV show, Bones, CSI, all of those, they always compare the weapon with the injury. It's common knowledge, I think.
The examination of anything that's related to injuries in the people that I later examine is relevant in my specialty of forensic pathology.
So
Plus, she's an expert on that field, so she knows what she's doing.
examining the vehicle would be important to your medical assessments in what way?
Yes.
Because the injuries that people sustain, whether it's a vehicle in this case or anything else, it's important to correspond the nature of the implement being the car. So it's possible I would be shown a car that would be not consistent with the injuries.
He didn't get any of that. I'm sure his head is like just spinning right now.
So it would be fair to say you've done numerous autopsies in your time as a medical professional. Would that be fair to say?
That's true.
And as you just said, examining the vehicle would be essential to your medical expertise. Is that fair to say?
You can see it. See that? See that face? She's like, what? What did he ask me?
Examining the vehicle is important to interpret the injuries. I'm not sure that, I don't know if that's the answer to your question.
He does, but he doesn't know.
So if you were doing an injury assessment based on if the injury was caused by a different kind of instrument, would the same apply to having to view that?
Yes.
Yes, if in cases of gunshot wounds, I asked to see the gun. In cases of stabbings or blunt trauma, I asked to see the weapons that they think were used, so I can determine if they are consistent or not consistent. I can't make matches, like precise matches, but I can say it looks like a baseball bat or it looks like a pair of scissors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would be fair to say if in a case of a gunshot wound, as you brought up, it wouldn't be, it would, let me back up. Would you say it would be hard to assess the gun, being that it wouldn't be the actual gun, but the bullets that caused the injury?
Well, actually, I don't examine the bullets, but I would examine the gun, especially, for example, if it's a contact wound. So if the muzzle of the gun touches the skin, then the muzzle could leave a mark. So then I could say the muzzle of the gun shown to me might match the mark.
And
Yeah, she's talking about being hit with a gun, not shot. And also, it will be important, even if it's a shot, because you will know the caliber of the bullet if you see the actual gun. So it will be something to compare there.
if it was something similar to that, the muzzle type thing, that would be, the mark would be from the heat. Would that be fair to say?
No, not actually. It's actually from the contact of the metal. So it's more of an abrasion than a burn.
Yeah.
So in a case like in a case like that, what would be the significance of the actual inspection of the gun?
I'm going to object to this question. I think it's a little bit of field of where we're at.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer. She brought it up as an example. I'll allow a little bit of leeway, but go ahead.
It's irrelevant.
Could you repeat your question?
What would be the significance in a case like that, as you stated? You view all types of instruments, gunshot wounds and things of that nature. What would be the significance of inspecting the actual gun in terms of the injury?
Well, I may be able to say that the mark on the skin, for example, is consistent with the outline of the muzzle of that particular weapon, looking at the dimensions and shape.
So what if it was used from a distance? Then what would be the essential reason to inspect the gun?
Depending on the distance, sometimes the pattern of stippling, like for example, if there's a flash suppression or something used, that can play a role. If it's very far away, then the actual characteristics of the weapon are more general. In other words, the size of the hole, for example, or what might reflect both the size of the caliber of the gun or the velocity. So it depends on, distance does play a role on what I would be evaluating.
Do you know if at the time you did the autopsies, if any of...
Wait. So we moved on from the whole inspecting the car? Like he had like a couple of questions and then he started talking about guns. Maybe he was preparing for his nephew trial, but now we move past it without any point to it.
Any of the victims you performed the autopsy on had any underlying illnesses at that time? Any cancers or anything like that that may have been going on at the time that you did the autopsy?
Yes, I would make observations of any natural disease processes that I saw at the time of autopsy.
Did you observe any?
Yes.
Do you recall from who that was?
Well, Mr. Hospital, he was an older gentleman. He had some heart disease, as I recall, a pacemaker, some coronary artery disease. Ms. Kulik, as I recall, had a large fibroid. That's what I remember.
And this question is so mean-intentioned because what he's trying to do is saying, hey, if I didn't run them over, they were gonna die anyway. So why put a charge on me if they already had an illness that would have killed them anyway? It's gross. He's trying to wiggle himself out of a murder charge because the person that he ran over, the person that he killed in a very gruesome way, as we saw, already had a heart problem. And maybe it wasn't even that bad. It was just a pacemaker issue.
I could look and clarify my memory further, but those are examples.
Can you explain to the jury what is a large thyroid?
Can you explain to the jury? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Is that the word you, thyroid?
Fibroid.
I'm sorry.
Yes. It's
Fibroid.
a benign uterine tumor.
Benign.
Is that a form of cancer?
No.
And you said the older gentleman had some fluid buildup in the chest. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misquote you. Some type of fluid around the chest area.
Correct.
And from your recollection, that wasn't caused by the vehicle?
That was. He entered the hospital actually with no evidence of that fluid, but it's lymphatic fluid from the thoracic duct, from a thoracic duct injury. So over the time he was treated, especially with the fluid resuscitation, because of the blood loss, the fluid collected in the hospital as a rupture of that thoracic duct injury and was in the pleural space surrounding the lungs.
So that
Another swing and a miss for Darrell Brooks. He thought that asking those questions, he was like, hey, that guy already had fluid on his lungs. That's why he passed away. No, Brooks, you pop him. You basically brought that out of him. It was your fault.
it would be fair to say that came about once he was already at the hospital.
Yes, but you caused it.
That's true.
And you said he had a pacemaker. Would that have any effect whatsoever on what might have been going on in his chest at the time?
No, and because he was in the hospital, the function of that pacemaker was well documented while he was being monitored.
Was it pretty active, still working properly at that time?
It was.
Even with the loss of blood, as you say, he had a loss of blood. Even then, was it still working pretty good?
Yes, the loss of blood had no effect on the electrical function of the pacemaker.
And were you at the parade at the time of the incident?
No, I was called after.
So at the time you were called, did you know any information about the incident?
Yes, because I was called in my function as a medical examiner, I was informed about the death of numerous people, injuries of more, and that this was a result of a car going through the parade.
Do you recall if it was referred to as a car or a SUV?
Well, you referred to it as a car, Brooks. You just did. So which one is it? It's a car. An SUV is a car. A sedan is a car. A Hummer is a car. A pickup is a car. It's a truck, but it's also a car.
I'm sure I was told it was an SUV because the vehicle in question was in custody at the time.
And you were already privy to that information before you arrived at the scene?
Either before or at the scene.
Do you recall whom informed you of that?
It could either have been my staff, who were the first people notified, so they would have reported to me what they were told, or it could have been detectives at the scene who I also interacted with.
So it would be fair to say you don't really recall?
Not specifically.
And you said you observed damage to the vehicle when you were able to view it?
Yes.
Would you say it was extensive damage, or did you really look at one specific area? Or let me rephrase that. Were you really focused on one certain area of the vehicle when you viewed it?
Well, when I was examining the car, actually the crime lab was there. So we looked at the entire circumference of the vehicle, and the vehicle was also on a lift, and we looked under the vehicle because we were questioning whether there was clothing perhaps or other physical evidence that would be important to document. So I would say that I looked at the car quite comprehensively, although it was not my job to document damage to the vehicle per se, other than what related to my autopsy interest.
And that would be specifically looking at the hood of the vehicle?
No, he just told you that it's just she saw the entire car. Yes, her main focus was the front of the car, not just the hood, because you ran over someone with your wheel. So she was looking at that as well.
To determine how it fit with your medical expertise?
Well, I paid attention to the front end of the vehicle, which is the part that typically is involved in pedestrian strikes. And those are the parts that I paid more attention to in terms of measurement than, say, I don't know, but it would be wherever the damage is, because now I'm thinking in some pedestrian strikes, there are cracks to the windshield or injuries to the side mirrors and so forth. So I paid attention wherever I thought the damage would be that would be relevant to my cases. But I did take measurements of the front end.
With your expertise, would you determine that all of the damage that you observed would be caused strictly from hitting one thing or numerous?
What?
I can say that there were multiple areas of the car that had damage, so it would seem unlikely to be from one impact, because in my experience, it's, you could have a frontal impact, you can have a side impact, you can be rear-ended, but there were dents, if you will, in multiple areas of the car.
And again, I think Darrell Brooks, we've been going for a couple of minutes, 15 minutes. At this point, he doesn't know what what she does. He's asking about the car. He keeps asking about the car instead of asking about his victims. This is what she's there for. You're not asking about, why are we talking about this? Telling the jury that the cause of the damage of the car was by multiple people doesn't help you.
So from your expertise, that could have came from a number of different things.
That's true.
You made a brief observation about speed and velocity. Do you have any expertise in that area?
Only to the extent that I understand how injuries occur, and in terms of the transfer of kinetic energy, because all injuries I see in the body have to do with that kind of transfer.
Would it be fair to say that everybody is different, though?
Everybody is different.
So with May, I guess I would phrase the question by saying something that may seriously injure someone else probably wouldn't seriously injure another person.
I mean, sure, everyone's different. Maybe someone can outlive that. Or maybe he's saying that just because the three people that we're talking about right now were older, that they had no shot. That maybe if he ran over, which he did, younger people, they would have lived. Yes, you did that. You ran over the band and there were a bunch of teenagers. You ran over kids and most of them survived. Just Jackson. So what are you saying right now?
Based on your expertise.
Generally, things of a serious nature don't become not serious. I would say that different people might have this, there are differences in people and how injuries how different events might injure them. But I wouldn't say that something that's serious in one individual would be minimal in another. Even though there might be a range, it's not going to be okay for one person, but maybe deadly for another. That is not typically how it is.
But it can vary.
It can vary.
Do you recall how many people you were called to attend to? the night of the incident?
How many people I was called to attend to?
Yes.
And again, he thinks that she's like a doctor, that she's over there in the street trying to help people. She's not. She gets in when it's all over, and they need to find out exactly what happened with the body. She's not a doctor in that way.
There were 3 victims on the road. Those are the ones that I saw that night.
Did you see anyone else besides those 3?
I later saw Ms. Kulik, who came from the hospital. Those were the people I examined that evening.
So it was just the 3?
The 4.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4.
Yes,
And no one besides those 4?
correct.
Do you recall being notified possibly to testify in this matter?
Yes.
Do you know about when?
I knew always that this case would end up in trial. I mean, but I don't remember when I actually had a date and time for appearance.
And how would you know exactly that the case would end up in trial?
Because you injure a ton of people and kill 6. So there was going to be a trial unless you took a plea deal, which you never even tried to. So
I say that because many factors could play out along, many different things happen over time.
You're right. That was probably a misstatement on my part. I thought it might go to trial, given the nature of the case, but I did not know for sure.
That makes sense. Definitely.
what was that comment? Makes sense.
So you had an idea that you might be testifying.
That's true.
And when did you know for sure that you would be testifying?
But you really only know for sure when you're called to court. You get a subpoena and things can still change. So I guess that's the best answer I can give you.
Do you recall when you were subpoenaed?
No,
Was it fairly recent to now, or was it some time ago, a few months?
probably not months, but I don't remember.
Do you recall whom you were subpoenaed by?
The district attorney.
Okay, this been happening, and I saw a comment the other day by Mel that he misuses the word who and whom. And as you guys know, English is my second language, so I'm not sure if he's using it correctly here. To whom did you got subpoenaed by?
Would that be referring to one of the district attorneys here today?
Sue Opper.
Do you recall what time you arrived on the scene after the incident that night?
It was about 10 to 8.
And do you recall what time you finally left the scene?
No, I don't recall exactly.
Would it be fair to say you were there for quite some time?
Probably around an hour or so, and then we continued our work at the medical examiner's office for a couple more hours.
And after you were subpoenaed, did you were you in contact with Attorney Opper after that?
Yes,
Did Attorney Opper ever state that she was the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained. You do not have to answer that question.
So are we done with the questions? Like, there's nothing else that he needs to ask her. Everything that he's been saying so far is irrelevant to the case. Maybe the injuries that he asked, like 3 questions of that, but everything else is completely irrelevant.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
You may ask your next question.
Were you ever made aware of the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained. You do not have to answer that. Please ask your next question.
Tell him
Grounds
to
for
move
the
on.
sustain, Your Honor, before I continue.
Ask your next question.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection relevant.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Ask your next question.
And look how sneaky he's being here. He changed it up. Instead of asking for grounds for the sustain because he's dumb and he was asked not to ask for the grounds, now he's asking for the reason of the sustain. So it's different now in his eyes. It's the same nonsense, but yeah.
No reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Ask your next question.
Do you know of any claims filed in this matter by you or anyone else?
What are claims?
Any reports filed, any filings made on your behalf or anyone you know?
I'm actually not sure I understand that.
I would object to it. It's vague.
Grounds?
Sustained. Sustained is the form of the question.
Did you make any claim of being an injured party in this matter?
Oh,
No.
Do you know of anybody that has?
Objection relevant.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Relevance.
ah.
Speculation. Vague.
I like that she gave him 3 answers so the jury knows that she's annoyed by his question.
Have you had any opportunity to view a complaint in this matter?
Objection vague.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form.
Have you ever seen a complaint in this matter?
Objection vague.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form.
Have you ever at any time had any interaction with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Vague. Relevance.
Nonsense.
I would object to that sustain.
You cannot object to sustains, my bro. You don't.
You said vague and relevance, relevant to the
Sustained.
case.
Next question, sir.
It's relevant, Your Honor.
Nah.
Jury deserves to know.
Noted is overruled.
I respect that. Jury deserves to know, though.
Jury will disregard the last statement made by Mr. Brooks. It's not his time to testify. Comments made by the parties or attorneys are not evidence.
Have you ever seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection relevance.
Grounds?
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Same as before.
So that would be relevancy and vagueness.
Ask your
Move on to another topic. This is what I don't get sometimes with Judge Darrell. Like at this point, you know that she's gonna keep asking questions about the plaintiff and all that stuff. Why not just put a stop to it? You do it often. So why don't you be like, if you keep asking about that, I'm gonna cut off the cross-examination.
your next question.
Was today your first time ever seeing those exhibits that were shown?
No.
You've seen those before, those videos?
Those videos, we saw no videos, Brooks. Those were just still images, reports.
Videos?
Yeah, the exhibits that were shown. The
Diagrams?
yes. I'm sorry, I didn't know that's how you identify them.
Oh, well, I drew them.
She drew them. Those are my diagrams. And also, why would you think that she will think of them as videos? So dumb. So dumb.
Oh, those exact ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. I wasn't aware of that. I apologize for that question.
Well, it's your job to read the report and know who made them.
And so I'm assuming at some point you turned those over to the district attorney. Would that be fair to say?
Today.
Oh, today. Any reason why you didn't previously turn those over before you actually were called to test, or before you knew that you would be testifying today?
I decided to prepare them for the purpose of testimony. They didn't exist before today.
So this was really like a 11th hour bottom of the night thing for you to get them prepared and be ready to go today then. Would that be fair?
No, she's a professional. She knows what she's doing. She didn't leave it off to last minute. She knows that she can pop it off right now and do it again. She's that good.
Fair to say?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's true, I did finish preparing them today, but I was, what shall I say? I was detailing them and wanted them to be as good as possible.
So how long did it take for you to detail them?
I guess I have to explain that there are no pre-existing diagrams of front and back skeleton and body diagrams in my office's collection of diagrams. So I spent time finding the proper diagrams, scaling them, composing them, and putting them in a format that I thought would be the best to illustrate the points I wanted to make. So I created the basic diagram, and then I decided on how to describe the injuries, and I, did one version, then I did another version. I wanted it to be very good, and so that's why I can say it didn't exist in the form you saw today until today, because that's what I was doing.
And to her credit, they were really good. I mean, I could feel the injuries by just looking at them. They were very well illustrated. Kudos to her.
So would it be fair to say that you have been working at this for some time then to get it the way you...
A few days.
Did you anticipate that you would be using those diagrams?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that some type of conversation had to be had in order for you to work that hard on those diagrams. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, she works hard.
And you had that conversation with Attorney Opera?
Yes.
To your knowledge, why would you, well, not why, take that back. To your knowledge, what would be the reason why you weren't already asked to develop those diagrams?
What?
Meaning, why weren't you asked this months ago in advance?
I don't think that anybody thinks about what exhibits might be used in a trial until the trial approaches, would be my answer.
But it would be fair to say that you just testified that you didn't know for sure if there would be a trial.
Correct.
It was an assumption.
Correct.
Had you ever created any diagrams like that before this
Yeah.
incident?
I'm sorry. For these cases,
Or at any time before this particular case?
are you still you're not referring to these particular cases?
These particular, the way that you did these, had you ever done this before this incident?
I've used diagrams in many, many trials. I just didn't have a diagram that displayed the body and the skeleton in this manner. I had no pre-existing form, but I use diagrams all the time.
And I can understand, I can relate to her by being confused by Darrell Brooks, because he's not the best at articulating his sentences, and he's not the best at asking questions that are relevant to the case. So I can relate to her in not knowing what she's talking about.
So for this particular case, you decided to go a little bit extra. Would that be fair to say? Grounds.
Sustained. As to the form of the question.
Would it be fair to say then that for this particular case, you decided that you would want a diagram that was a little bit more defined?
What?
What I decided was we had 3 decedents, and I thought it would be easiest for the jury to understand the complexity of the injuries when talking about three people sequentially if I could compress the information. Otherwise, a typical autopsy might have a skull diagram and then another page a body diagram and then another page a skeleton. You know, it would be multiple pages. And I thought that would be very difficult when we're talking about three different people.
So had you thought of that before in any other cases that you've done before this one?
I don't remember testifying about three pedestrians in trial in one sitting ever before.
No.
Okay, so what she's saying is that this particular crime was so bad that she needed a one diagram so it wouldn't go as long as other ones. She's saying that she never in her line of work had to attend to so many victims in one trial. That doesn't make you look good, Brooks.
I wasn't asking if you've testified at a trial before. I was asking based on the explanation that you just gave about making it easier to read the diagrams. Had you ever thought of that before this particular case?
She didn't need to before because the other ones were basically just one person.
Yes, it's not unusual for me to create my own diagrams specific to a case.
Right.
What I meant by that question was the way that you designed these particular diagrams. Had you thought of doing it this way before this particular incident?
Objections or relevance?
Grounds.
Sustained.
Doesn't matter.
Grounds for the sustained, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Do you recall when you completed all your medical work for this particular case?
But the autopsy report was signed in February of 2022. So my medical work, my conclusions were concluded at that time.
So about 8 months.
8 months. From November to February are 4 at most.
At the time that you concluded your reports, were you already thinking about forming the diagrams for the injuries?
No,
So that kind of came about during the process of possibly knowing that you might testify.
the diagrams were created as court exhibits.
Today.
Completed today.
Do you recall at what time they were completed today? Was it morning or shortly before you came in, or
Objections or relevance?
grounds?
Overruled. You may answer.
I think I actually completed them last night, but we got the copies made this morning, and they were not given to Ms. Opper until today. So I think they actually were completed in terms of my sketching last night, but they were not, I had to get color copies made and they had to be submitted. So I would say, I thought of them as being done this morning, but I was working on them last night.
Yeah,
No further questions.
finally.
Briefly. Ma'am, to follow up on these diagrams that have been presented in court today, are all the findings that are contained in those diagrams from the autopsy protocol?
Yes.
Objection.
Overruled.
Relevancy.
Overruled.
What do you mean relevancy? She is clarifying what you just tried to object to.
And ma'am, could you have brought in a it's Halloween, so we see them all over the place, but could you have brought in a skeleton and described the same injuries?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled, it's
Objection,
redirect.
hearsay.
It's not hearsay, she may answer.
I could show you the broken bones on the skeleton. I couldn't show you the injuries to the soft tissues or the organs on the skeleton.
And if you had in a doll or a mannequin, that would be something that you could show the jury, just like you did in these diagrams, where the injuries, the external injuries were. Would that be a correct
Objection,
statement?
relevancy.
Overruled, you may answer.
That's true.
It is relevant. What attorney is saying is that she can use whatever. It doesn't need to be a diagram. She chose to do a diagram because if she thought it was the best way to present it, but she can do it with anything.
So is there anything on these diagrams that were not contained within the autopsy protocol that were turned over to the state months ago?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled,
No, there's nothing on the diagrams that was not, that isn't listed in the autopsy reports.
In fact, if I had a blank diagram in reviewing the autopsy protocol today, if I put a blank diagram in front of you, could you have made these same markings right here? And it would have just taken time, obviously, but could you have done it right now?
Objection, lead the witness.
overruled, you may answer.
Yes, I could.
Thank you. Now, I want to talk briefly about Jane Kulik's autopsy. You had stated that you had discovered a benign uterine fibroid. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did that in any way, was that a factor in her death?
Objection, hearsay.
It cannot be hearsay. She's an examiner. She would know. She's an expert, Brooks.
Overruled, she may answer.
And at most it would be speculation, not hearsay.
No.
And with regard to Wilhelm Hasbo, was the presence of a pacemaker in any way related to his death?
Objection, I asked that in my cross and she answered.
Overruled, it's redirect, it's proper, the state may ask it. You may answer.
No.
The coronary disease that you testified to on cross-examination, did that play a factor in his death?
Objection, same reason.
Overruled,
Already
you may
answered.
answer.
No.
The thoracic fluid found in Mr. Haspel's lungs that you said did play a factor in his death. Is that correct?
Yes.
What caused that fluid buildup around his lungs?
Objection, answered already.
Overruled.
No, she did. You didn't answer that. And even if you did, she can ask it again.
You may answer.
It was an injury to the thoracic duct that was caused by the impact of the vehicle to his body.
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
What was this motion that he did right there? What does that mean? Like, we gotta keep moving? We are moving. Like, he seems to be writing down a lot of things that it doesn't matter. That body language was weird.
My jurors are okay. Just thought we'd stand for a bit, but then keep going with testimony. So everyone may stand. Do our little stretch break. We haven't done one of those in a while.
All right, then you guys can also have a stretch break because this will be it for today. Come back the next one because we're gonna be looking at the father. I do believe that is a father or a priest or a rabbi. No, it's not a rabbi. We're gonna see the Catholic representative in the next video, which is also incredibly tacky by Darrell Brooks. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day, and remember that you're great, that you matter, and that I'm really happy that you guys are here. Bye-bye.